Morning, y'all. So anyway, since Friday, I've chosen, for many reasons, to sleep in my car. I want to bring awareness to, homeless population or people that sleep in their cars, kind of step above homeless, and kind of also reaction to people's, let's just say, selfishness of hoarding stuff. Now you're all gonna have a bunch of bread that's gonna go bad because this wasn't that bad. Yeah, it's maybe some people lost power, whatever, but it says it's 18 degrees right now. It's a little cold, but it's whatever. So anyway, what did I do? What are the things I do? First and foremost is you always want to have water no matter what time of year in your car. You never know if you're gonna break down or whatever. And remember, water freezes from the top to the bottom. So I flipped my bottles upside down to where the drinking part, it'll freeze from the top, which is the bottom, if that makes sense. And I try to insulate so you have water, because there's no point in having water in your car if it's a popsicle. Two, obviously, you should always have food in your car, no matter what. You never know when an emergency occurs. I always keep tuna, mackerel, sardines, some dry fruit, some packaged rice. The biggest, most important thing is, and nuts, is it's called thermogenesis, and that's your body heats itself, not from really carbs and protein, but from fat. So your body wants to metabolize fat. So nuts, high fat, fatty atoms, sardines and stuff actually are a natural insulator and heater in your body. That's the most important thing as far as food goes. Candles. Yeah, candle could be pretty dangerous in the car. You don't want to, but you'd be surprised how much heat a candle puts out. And obviously, it provides light. You obviously be careful, be prudent, and you're not going to run it all night. Three, for whatever I'm on right now, is you want to layer up. So I have 2 layers of socks, my waterproof boots, 3 layers in my pants, and a tip is your first shirt you put on, it's usually going to be a regular shirt, tuck that into your under layers because you don't want anything exposed. You don't want the wind to let out the heat. The biggest thing isn't to stay warm. The biggest thing is to stay insulated. And so keep yourself sealed as much as possible. A big thing people often overlook because maybe it looks dorky is, a scarf. You have no idea how important it is to keep your neck warm. And it also works for your face or whatever. And of course, a toboggan, beanie, wherever you're from, whatever you call it. Excuse me. I don't really like them because they're so constricting, but you want to keep your head warm no matter what. I got quite a few layers. Actually, I just got a long sleeve t-shirt, a hoodie, and a pretty thick, fluffy jacket. I know it's jean, but this thing's actually pretty warm. And I took off the Carhartt vest. That really helped. That's more for waterproofing inside because it's got that thing, but I just felt like I didn't need it. And I didn't have a sleeping bag. I have a sleeping bag, but it wasn't necessary. So I just used a regular blanket for my storage unit, and it was fine. Again, you want to seal it off. My car isn't quite sealed, so I feel airflow. So you want to seal yourself up. You want to try not, even when you roll over, not to let fresh air in. The layers and layers provide barriers. That's the biggest thing. People think, oh, you got to run your heater. You got to trap and sustain the heat. Yeah. And with your vehicle, you need to at least a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch leave the window open. You need fresh air, and you don't want, once that condensation freezes, which some of it did in my car, but it would have been worse, then you're just straight sitting in an ice box, and or you're covered in, you know, whatnot. But it's really important these times to think about all the people that are without homes. You know, me, I live off the grid, and the homeless people, and they some of them do have tricks, and this, putting on the table. This isn't my first rodeo. I've spent probably in my 41 years, I've probably spent 6 to 7 years not consecutively living in my car in various inclement weather conditions, and particularly for the cold, the storm, these are things that will help. So if you're just someone normal who lives in a house, it is well for you to keep these things in your car. You never know what's going to happen. You never know. Oh, well, you never know if you had to go to the emergency room or take someone to the emergency room because all available units weren't available. You just don't know. You know, just emergencies happen, and so if you do get stranded, these things are very helpful. Obviously, you want a lighter for the candle. You don't want to run your heat in your vehicle. You also risk carbon monoxide poisoning and all that good stuff. A lot of people, you'd be surprised, I've been reading about that, fall asleep with their engines running, all their windows up, and never wake up again. That's not good. Don't, gotta remember, walking through the snow in the cold, you may not be sweating, but you're exerting yourself twice as much as in the heat, and you don't realize it. And so unless you just absolutely have to, stay in your vehicle. Do not exert the energy that you have, or you can still dehydrate in the cold, and you don't want to risk getting wet, frostbite, all that good stuff. I don't think it's cold enough here to even have any of that happen. 18 degrees, whatever, but I know it's going to get pretty low. I'm going to try to do this for 2 weeks, maybe longer, just to let people know, stop freaking out, man. I mean, I went to Walmart. People bought all the window covers for your cars, to insulate their houses, and I'm like, oh, you could have just saved money and done foil, but people are freaking out. If you're in a house and it is enclosed and you don't have electricity because the power lines collapsed, it's you're sheltered still. You're blessed. You're blessed more than all the other people previously mentioned. There's many things you can do. Set up a fort in a fort. This isn't Russia. We're in Canada, and even in those situations, you still have a high chance to survive. Like you're not gonna freeze to death if you have enough layers of clothing, and you gotta again insulate, keep that heat inside. But I'm gonna just kind of document this through whatever time, and it's fine. Also, a big thing too. Watch what you eat. What I mean by that is try to avoid high fibers or just foods that will irritate you, because you may not have access to a bathroom to go, you know, to release your waste, and that ain't good. You don't want to be pooping in the snow. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, but be wary of that. Obviously, caffeine. Don't drink too much caffeine because again, it's a diuretic and also dehydrates you. Just be safe out there, y'all, and always be prepared for something like this. Don't. That's what's happening at these places. People are preparing at the last moment. It's like you should have water at your house in case of an emergency. You should have, non-perishable food at your house, because in case of an emergency, you should have means to warm yourself, because this stuff does happen. This is just a winter. I mean, sure, it may be whatever, but it's not worth freaking out at all. Most people, when they die from their own folly. They die from lack of knowledge. As it says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. And it's just these simple things that keep you alive and comfortable. I haven't been uncomfortable. It's been a little boring, but I got my guitar. I always keep a car guitar and uh, inverter battery packs. I always have those. I've had those in my personal for 5 years since I found out about them, because I used to have a job where it was like in the back of the building and there was no plug access, and so that's how I would charge my phone while listening to like audiobooks, and it works. They're good in cars. um yeah, just, I mean, I see a few people in this parking lot here. It looks like they're roofing it out too, and I'm sure they know what they're doing. I'm sure that they've seen this video, they'd be like, yeah, he's right, whatever. And it's not that I'm right, it's just this is trial and error. Maybe I'll do the same in a crazy heat wave, and just, I'm a glutton for punishment. I don't know, but these things are very helpful, and these things will keep you alive. And you don't think about it until you don't, preparing isn't hoarding. Preparing is already having provisions, the mental clarity to execute. That's being prepared. So that's where you need to get, because this could happen again. It looks like it's going to be happening later on this week, and even this next coming up weekend. Y'all stay safe, bring your pets in. God bless.